right, a little tidbit to help you elaborate on the concept that I talked about yesterday, playing over the chords versus just playing in the key. What you can do to really help you understand the intervallic relationship between notes and to really learn the content of each chord. One thing that really helps me is to learn the arpeggios on one string with one finger. So today we'll just pick the B string and we'll go through the first few chords of the progression from yesterday, Little Wing, for which I do not own the copyrights to. And we're just going to go through and learn those arpeggios. I'm going to be calling them by their chord tone number rather than their note name. So the first, using the B string, the first chord tone of E minor is the fifth on the B string, right? So I'm going to go 5, 1, 3, 5. There's my E minor. And now I want to find a chord tone that is within 1 or 2 frets of where I ended up. Just so happens that the upcoming chord, which is a G, when I end up on this B on the 12th fret, it is the 5th of the E minor, but it's also the 3rd of the G major. Right? So now I'm going to go 3, 1, 5, 3 of the G major. Right? So let's look at that again. The first 2 chords, E minor to G major. 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3. All right, only a 1-note difference between those 2 arpeggios, but distinct enough to really bring out some different characteristics. All right, so what's the next chord of the progression? It's A minor. All right, so let's do that again. So E minor, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3. All right, there. So I ended up on the open B string, which was the 3rd of the G, and a half step away on the 1st fret of the B string, I end up with the 3rd of A minor. So I got 3, 5, 1, 3. Let's look at those 3 chords in succession. So E minor, 5, 1, 3, 5. And now G, 3, 1, 5, 3. A minor, 3, 5, 1, 3. And now I got to find a place to resolve back because the next chord of the progression is back to E minor. Well, here I am on the 3 or the 3rd of the A minor and have to find a chord tone for the upcoming E minor that's within a half step or 2, or a half step or a whole step. And all I have to do is move down 1 half step and I'm back to the 5th of E minor, right? So let's look at those 4 chords: E minor, G major, A minor, E minor. Just these quarter note arpeggios on one string with one finger. So E minor, 5, 1, 3, 5, G major, 3, 1, 5, 3, A minor, 3, 5, 1, 3, back to E minor, 5, 3, 1, 5. Okay, so I know it sounds really simple. It's really dumbed down. It's just one string, it's one finger. It doesn't seem like it's applicable to making usable musical ideas, but it really is. Because once you do that and you can make those subtle changes between the chord changes, you really start to embellish on the most important aspects of a chord, the content of the chord. And so with conviction, what I'll do is I'll play a little example of this over the progression again. With conviction, you get your resolutions from chord to chord to chord by always hitting a chord tone. Instead of just wailing through the key and maybe hitting a chord tone or maybe hitting a scale tone that doesn't sound so good. So let's put that into practical application with the chord progression playing. Here we go. Alright, so what I did, I just played the whole progression. I added some chords that we didn't talk about previously, but I played the whole progression using that concept. one string, one finger, and just kind of ran through the 3-note arpeggios. And I was able to, with conviction, play a chord tone each time we transitioned from chord to chord to chord, which gave it it just gave it more confidence and more conviction, and it gave it an absolute, like an exclamation point every time that we transitioned. And then when you apply that, you do that over and over. Of course, you do it on each string, you do it with each finger. But the more that you do that, and then you go back to the visceral playing of just playing in the key, when you combine those two concepts, you start cooking with gas, and then you can really rip it. Play with conviction, play with fire, play with emotion, all that, and then have that professional, polished quality to your playing. So I hope that helps. Any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to ask. Happy Saturday.